day deliver on the promises for the American people.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you
I
very much.
disagree
Got to
with
get next
that.
question.
Thank you very much.
you. I'll try to throw in there. Any disagreements, guys, we can work through here. Yes. Yes, sir.
Hello there, Charlie Kirk. My name is Braden Lamb, and I just wanted to ask you one good question. Why should rapists benefit from spreading their genes into the gene pool?
Well, I don't think they should, but I think that human life deserves to be protected.
I agree.
It's not a reward for rapists. It's a universal human equality.
However, I don't think, while the child morally should not be punished, the rapist benefits automatically from having the child spreading their genes in the gene pool.
Okay.
Now, I say this because as a pre-med student, I have to keep an open mind about other people's beliefs, and this is one of the things I would have to do in pre-med is consider someone who believes in abortion versus my own standard beliefs. I believe that if someone is raped and they have a child by that rapist, that abortion should be an option, but it should not be the first answer. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I disagree with that. That's a fair opinion. Yeah, I mean, you have a right to that opinion, sure.
All right. You have any other thoughts on that, or is that about it?
That's about it. I think we've discussed that topic thoroughly today.
I have thoughts, though, as well. I just want to see that one tidbit.
Thanks.
You mind if I have a
Yes,
white
sir.
hat for my sister?
Yes, sir. There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Charlie
Yes, next
Kirk.
question.
Okay. Good afternoon. You touched on this earlier, but I wanted to go in deeper. I think all drugs should be legalized. I think you should go into like a Walmart or any convenience store and buy anything you want.
Okay. So how's that work in San Francisco?
Well, I think that's a different issue. That's out of the scope. I think drug usage is someone's choice. I think legalizing drugs is different. Than
So you think we should be able to walk into Costco and get heroin?
Yeah. That,
Tell us more why you think that's a good idea.
I'm a libertarian, and I think we should just have access to anything I'd like anything that a man can create and cultivate. Why shouldn't I be able to?
Should you be able to have access to a thermonuclear bomb?
No, I think that's a bit
anything
extreme,
man
but-
created. Yeah.
I think that's a bit extreme, but
Okay. How about a howitzer?
I'm not familiar with that.
It's like a cannon.
Okay.
How about a rocket launcher?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's like things
No,
of
these-
mass destruction, though.
Heroin is a drug of mass destruction, man.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go. I knew you were gonna go with that.
Yeah.
but
So no, but prove your
I
point.
think,
How about this? Do you think fentanyl should be sold easily and openly in Walmart?
Yeah, I do. I'm a believer that there should be free markets, and I think also the legalization of drugs would solve a lot of problems, right? Like
Where has that ever worked? Portugal tried it and reversed it.
I'm not sure. I don't know all about this, but I think Amsterdam's a good.
No, I wouldn't say that's a good example.
A good example. But I can't control what people do. I can't control what they do with their lives.
That's not true. You absolutely see the law is a teacher. That's not correct. When you make something illegal, it's harder to get, and usage rates go down. They don't disappear, but they go down. Okay. If all of a sudden you can get a Big Mac with a side of fentanyl, that's bad. That's dangerous. That's wrong. Because the law is a teacher.
But that's your choice, and we're taxing people on like sugar and alcohol. I think that's also an overreach. I just think the government's overreaching by legalizing.
You're far too absolutist in what you think is a choice. You believe in license. I believe in liberty. Liberty is the ability to do things that elevate, that grow, that prosper the human spirit. License to be able to do whatever dirty thing. Do you think prostitution should be legal?
I haven't really thought about it, but I don't really like prostitution in that.
But it's just two consenting adults. It's their choice, right?
Yeah, I guess like from a libertarian perspective, which I dabble with, I guess, yeah, they'd probably think that's right. But morally, I don't think that's.
Do you like to spend time in cities where drugs are easily traded? Like, do you think Seattle is safe to go to downtown Seattle?
Okay.
Do you like spending time in downtown Seattle?
Yeah, I had an internship there, and the city's beautiful, and there's a lot of things to do. But
it was beautiful.
But I think, but again, that's their choice. I'm not, and I feel like we're infringing on people's just choice to do things. And you know what I mean?
No. Because you have to end up living in a society. You have to end up living in a culture. You have to walk your kids, hopefully, through a park to not have to avoid hypodermic needles. You have to. I want to be.
That's drug usage again, though. I'm just talking about legalizing drugs.
No, I got it. You understand there's a correlation when you legalize it, drug usage goes up?
Yeah, I do. I understand that. I don't know. I think it's a lot safer. There wouldn't be as many overdoses. There wouldn't be fentanyl, and you could actually like.
There is zero evidence of this whatsoever, as exhibited by marijuana. Marijuana usage rates have gone up since we've legalized it. Therefore, if we legalize fentanyl, we legalize cocaine, drug use rates will go up. We should make it harder, not easier, to get substance that can kill yourself. By the way, how many people in rural Washington are overdosing from fentanyl? A lot. I'm sure a lot of you guys know friends that have overdosed from drugs in this part of the world.
But that's on spike drugs. Like if I were to buy cocaine and it's spiked with fentanyl, that's...
No, you can overdose from cocaine. You absolutely can.
I know you can, but
non-spiked cocaine, you can overdose from cocaine. You actually can. It's very possible. I know they tell you, oh, it's just fine. It just gives you a little bit of a high. Yeah. You could non-spiked drug. Almost every drug you can overdose on except marijuana that is non-spiked. Also, heroin. Are you kidding me? I mean, LSD. Not exactly good for you.
Well, I think there's benefits and cons. There's pros and cons to everything. Like, but one thing I watched the Aaron Rodgers documentary on DMT, and I think that was very eye-opening and how that experience can benefit others. Like this alcoholic, went and did that experience, and now he doesn't drink. That's anecdotal, but.
Okay, I just encourage you to live out your own philosophy. You should have to go live in cities that don't treat that basically where all drugs are legal, like Portland and Seattle and San Francisco.
I don't think open I agree with you. I think you should be able to do it in private. I don't think open drug use should be right, and I think it should be, but it's not being enforced, right? So why should we let our cities be ransacked but not legalize it and make it safer and make it regulated?
There is no safe fentanyl. There is no safe heroin. Doesn't exist.
But pure heroin, and if you sold it in a store, it would be safe, right?
Again, not only can you still overdose, let's just talk the more moral. What an ugly society that would be if heroin is considered to be something commercialized. All of a sudden you're going to see heroin commercials. You're like, oh yeah, you think that your day is bad? It's okay. Go get a little bit of heroin at the local Walgreens. We laugh, but that's where we're headed? That's the society.
That's not where we're headed. You can keep living your life and living by your values.
The law is a teacher. The law should reflect morality.
Okay.
Definitionally. So, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Can I get a hat?
Yes.
Do you mind signing it?
I'll sign it. Yeah.
Can I get the red one?
Okay. Thanks.
Charlie.
Yes. Other questions that disagree? Go to the front. Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
Got it. Okay. All right, Charlie, you had done a show on your or a segment on your show about Governor Tim Walz. You know, it was funny, it was cute. He was looking at the excuse me. It was looking at his podcast appearance with Gavin Newsom. He said he wanted to get into a fight. It was just goofy jesting. And, you showed a video of him trying to shoot a shotgun. It didn't work out well, but I just figured...
He didn't know how to load a shotgun.
There you go. So my point is, though, I figured as a political commentator, you would prefer to have a substantive discussion about the economic policies that he has passed. And I have some listed here. Forgive me, the list is a little long, but it has price tags on what it would be estimated to cost to implement these policies in the United States. And I just would like to get your opinion on a few of them. Free breakfast and lunch for kids, making sure that children can eat in school.
That's not what it
$20 billion per year.
Bad idea.
Legalizing marijuana, I've gotten your opinion on that. That's a net savings of $8 billion per year. Carbon-free electricity by 2050
Terrible.
costs $41 billion per year. We have 12 weeks paid family sick leave costing $45 billion.
Wait, is this what he did in Minnesota, or what he
That's correct. It's what he did in Minnesota, and these costs are the projected costs of what it would cost to implement these things.
Keep working through the list, and then I have a question.
Okay. So banning gay deconversion therapy, a savings of $9 billion.
It's an attack on freedom of speech. How does that save $9 billion? You got to explain that one. So banning freedom.
Having the deconversion therapy.
No. Explain. No. Don't just read off the piece. Explain to me. Use your reason. How banning therapy saves $9 billion.
Okay. Let's go through the rest of the list. I'll come back to that point as well.
Okay.
Now, I still have a few more. Red flag laws. If someone says that if they want to shoot up a school, then the government has a right to confiscate that person's
That is
guns.
not what a red flag law is, for the
Okay.
record. A red flag law is that somebody, like a spouse who's in a dispute, could wrongfully accuse their husband who's a veteran, oh, he's violent or whatever, even though he isn't, and his rights get taken away. Or even worse, a husband can say it against his wife and she's not able to protect herself.
I see.
Red flag laws are not that at all. And by the way, if someone says they're going to shoot up a school, they're going to get arrested. They're not going to have their guns taken away.
This has happened in the past, and they have
Yeah, you know
not
who's
been
friends with
arrested.
school shooters? Tim Walz is friends with school shooters.
Everyone
that's what he
brings
literally.
up that point, but let's go.
Yeah, they
again,
bring up that
economic
point because
policy.
that's what he said.
So
He's like,
the-
I'm friends with school shooters.
the
That's
total
really
cost
creepy and weird.
of all of these are
You hear that? That's weird.
$161 billion per year. Now, if it comes to
How does a red flag law save $61 billion
No,
a year
the
in
red-
Minnesota? What is
No,
the GDP in
it's
Minnesota
not in
like?
the Minnesota cost. I'm saying that these costs added up for the entire United States to implement them 161 billion per year on average, right? There's some wiggle room there.
How would
and now,
a red
now
flag law
President
save you
Trump,
$161 billion
No,
a year?
everything collectively.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes,
got it.
everything collectively saves
Still, I don't believe it, but
161.
fine.
And everyone, I implore you, if you are in favor of those policies, please look up the price tags. But beyond that, President Trump has expressed the desire to increase the military budget, not keep it the same, but increase it from $850 billion to $1 trillion. That cost right there could fund all of these policies. And the Pentagon has failed 7 audits in a row now, not counting for 60% of the money that it spends.
I agree.
And so why can you justify an increase in spending to this agency?
I don't support more money for the Pentagon, but that's fine. That's President Trump's position, not mine. But just one very simple question. If Tim Walz was such a good governor, why is Minnesota losing population?
I mean, I know his net favorability rating is positive.
No, but if all this is so good, why are people net leaving Minnesota and going to other states? They're not flocking to Minnesota.
I fail to see if there's a direct correlation
Of course
between...
there is. People vote with their feet. They go to Florida. They go to Texas. They go to Arizona. They go to states that are rational and sane and that don't have tampons in boys' bathrooms.
I would think that a lot of the people in this crowd would be in favor of just tampons being more readily accessible.
In boys' bathrooms.
As far as I understand it, that point has been disproven.
It's not disproven. He's
That
tampon
he
Tim for a
wants-
reason. They're in boys' bathrooms.
Now, again, if...
But yeah, they're here on campus, I think, in boys' bathrooms too. Yeah. So he's just not disproven. It's the liberal way. But no, you got to explain to me how, like, the gay conversion therapy, how that saves $9 billion a year. Like, what is that all about? That just sounds fake.
Well, there's the cost of maintaining these facilities, right? There's paying the employers who work at them. And
They're not funded by the government. These are private churches that do counseling. So how would like banning freedom of speech save $9 billion a year? It's on your list. It's like totally fake.
even if that point is disregarded, what
How
about
does a red
everything else?
flag law save you money?
Less than $1 billion. Now,
But
again,
how? I mean, like, this is just like a fake list you put together. There's like no. it's
any
like,
of the policies can be searched with minimal research to find
no,
price
I'm not
tags.
doubting that the policies exist. I don't understand how you could say they save money.
Some of them, only 2 out of that list. Now, everything else has a cost associated with it, right? And what I'm saying is that these things are within our spending abilities to implement. And if you don't agree with the policies, I mean, that's fine. Things like legalizing marijuana, for instance, popularity-wise, polls 60
Yes,
to
and
70%.
it costs states more than anything else. It costs more in hospital room visits, costs more in police. It has cost Colorado
There
a
are
ton
costs. There are costs, but there are net savings. It's as in whatever money is generated, whatever revenue is produced, will outweigh those costs.
of money. That has not borne it out. So do you think you're a big Tim Walz fan? I can tell.
Based on his policies, yes.
Okay, great.
And and as far as paying for them, I think the question that people usually mock in return to these ideas is how do we pay for it? How could we possibly pay for these things?
Actually, not a single one of those are good ideas that should happen.
12 weeks paid family leave?
Not by the government, no.
By who?
The employer. In fact, you know what? Turning
But they're
Point
not
USA.
incentivized.
Hold on. No, that's not true. We have 1,500 employees. We give 3 months full paid leave at Turning Point USA, and we are a micron of the size
And
of Microsoft or Nvidia.
And everyone applauds because that's the correct policy, right? That's the correct choice. So to have this available for other companies, that should be a net positive. And with the cost that associated with it, it's within our capabilities to spend it. It's a policy choice not to spend for it, which is what I disagree with.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Are they still yammering over there? Jeez.
Can I move this? Thank you.
They're welcome to come up to the mic too, but
Okay.
they won't because they'll lose and they know it. Yes.
Okay. So I wasn't going to come up here, but I heard someone talking about how abortions are important because it takes rape babies out of the population. And I just wanted to say that by saying that, they are wanting to take out very important people. 4 years ago, I was raped by my father, and I chose not to have an abortion, and this is what came out of it.
I'm very sorry that happened to you. That is incest and rape. And tell us your little one's name.
This is Jonah.
And Jonah's a miracle from God,
He is.
but it was a terrible thing that happened to you. What is your message to people that say babies conceived in rape are not human beings?
They are absolutely human beings. They are made individually by God, and they can do some very important things. I believe that he'll grow up and he'll help people, and based on all of our experiences, we can try and keep them from doing the same thing that their parents did.
Praise God. Jonah is alive because of your courage. And you turned something evil into something good. So God bless you, and thank you so much. Hi,
Thank
Jonah.
you.
You want a hat, Jonah?
Yes, please.
God bless you. Thank you. Give it up for Jonah and them. That's really great, everybody.
All right, so I kind of have two questions at once. How do you support the Second Amendment on concealed carry and be anti-abortion? Because it's still taking a life. If you shoot someone in self-defense, you still took a life.
Okay, well, first of all, it's self-defense. Secondly, you know guns are used for other things.
Yeah, so that's why I say I have
And
two
an ownership,
questions.
you know, less than 1% of any gun owner will actually ever use their guns on another human being.
Right, that's why I say I have two questions, because I'm actually extremely pro Second Amendment, more than you, to the extent I believe that the main fighting force in America should be in the hands of the citizens, not in the government. So when the Founding Fathers wrote the Second Amendment, they didn't immediately go make an organized military. They left the guns in the hands of the people, and they just beat the British with personally owned firearms. And so if you can afford it, I think you should be able to have a tank sitting in your garage.
How about a thermonuclear weapon?
I would say not nuclear.
Why? How about, come on, man. People are the military. Why not nuclear weapons?
Because if you had it, so it was all in your, as the citizens that had the weapons, we wouldn't get into.
The citizens do have the weapons. That's first where you're wrong. Who's in charge of the military?
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, we have a citizen-led military in this country. We do not have a military-led military. That's a distinction that is not always mentioned. The head of the military is a democratically elected individual by the people. Donald Trump never served in the military, yet he's in charge of the armed forces. Pete Hegseth, civilian. The people in charge, in fact, you can't serve to be head of the Department of Defense as a former general without a waiver from Congress. We have a civilian military. We do not have a separate military branch that there's permanently as a junta.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking, because if it was all citizen, like
It is. That's the point. The commander-in-chief is a citizen by us. We do not have generals that just assume control of the U.S. government. It doesn't work that way. We're not Syria. We're not Libya. So your whole premise is wrong. We have a civilian-led military.
I guess I hadn't thought of that way. So, I guess you answered my question.
Thank you for being honest.
Can I have a hat?
Yes, thank you. And I want to just elaborate on that. It's a very important distinction, everybody, that our military, we have a joint chiefs that can only advise on it. We do not have a permanent military class that is technically calling shots.
All right, what's up? Charlie, right?
Yes, I think I've met you before. Maybe I'm wrong. No?
I don't think so. I don't come to these types of things. But, so, you know, a lot of liberal people say that Trump is authoritarian and different than any other president, right? And you disagree with that. So I was wondering, what's the smallest thing that Trump could do that would, be different and authoritarian, and a warning bell in your sign that it's undemocratic, Like, is it running for a third term? What is it?
So you want me to answer a hypothetical?
I want you to make a stance right now that you're saying, I'm never going to take this back. If any president does it, not just Trump, if Joe Biden did it, then it would be, and it can't be, something like, oh, if they took out all the Republicans.
If Donald Trump did what Biden did, which was trying to use the Justice Department to imprison someone that he was running up against, I would speak out against that.
Okay.
When Joe Biden used the Department of Justice to try to put Donald Trump in prison for 700 years, that's the thing that dictatorships are made of. And no one spoke out against it in the media. We acted as if this was normal. Okay, Trump's just going to go to jail for 700 years because he's running for office. Regardless of who's president, you should not lock up the dissident leader. If Bernie Sanders runs for president, we shouldn't try to put him in jail. If AOC runs for president, we shouldn't try to put her in jail. It's bad for the country.
Yeah, so like lock up crooked Hillary, that's like, yeah, like, I get it now. If you say lock up crooked Hillary, then that's like, trying to imprison your dissident, someone who's going against you.
Yeah, well, she lost, actually.
Yeah,
So-
okay, so if you win, then it's okay.
Well, no, actually, we didn't control the Justice Department at the time. You following?
yeah.
Right? Who was president in 2016?
Yeah, it was...
It was Obama.
It was Obama.
Yes, when we said lock her up, that was a chant trying to say that someone who broke the law should be held accountable. There was no Justice Department that we controlled. It was Obama. Instead, you have to do you think it was wrong that Trump was hunted down by Biden's Department of Justice for 4 years? Can you disavow that?
Can you say that Joe Biden himself ordered all of that?
Yeah, it was Merrick Garland, who's his attorney general. It's his government. It wasn't like a separate branch of government. So can you say that was wrong? That is dictator stuff. That is third world stuff. Can you say that? Yes or no? Can you say that that was wrong?
Come on, man. I heard that. Well, I hope
Was
you all
it-
have a good night.
No, was it wrong that they tried to put Donald Trump in federal prison for hundreds of years?
I think that they had genuine concerns. That's my point.
So you're a defender of a dictatorship. Here you come up, be like, oh, what can you say about Donald Trump being an authoritarian? You're a defender of authoritarian practices.
So
the hallmark characteristic of an authoritarian government is we are going to put the person who is not in political power while we hold political power in jail. They're doing it to Bolsonaro right now in Brazil. Even Putin does it to dissidents in Russia. They do it in China. And yet
My bad.
you won't even say, nah, this is wrong. This is weird. This is not good.
So Joe Biden's a dictator.
Of course he was. He had authoritarian tendencies in this regard. His entire government did. To say that we're going to lock up the guy that's about to become president, we're going to use the justice system as a way to cheat, that's stuff to the third world. And we should agree that's wrong, right?
Okay, I will say one more thing. I think that saying, the president beforehand was a dictator is not going to be good for the future health of this country because we voted for him.
What is incorrect with what I'm saying? Is it not a hallmark characteristic of third world dictatorships to use the system of criminal justice to put those people in jail? We march in the streets against Putin when he does it.
And Joe Biden is the same as Putin, yeah?
In that regard,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, in that regard, actually, yes.
All right, Bet, Liddy, I hope you have a great night. I mean that sincerely. I do not think...
So you will not condemn Joe Biden or anyone for trying to put Trump in jail?
I don't think that Trump or Joe Biden has done anything for me as a U.S. citizen to see them as a dictator.
Okay, fine.
And I think that political separation is because of people like you, Joe.
Yeah, okay. Let's say that in the mic, Coward. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I think that political separation is because you make your money off of your organization, which says Trump, Trump, Trump.
Okay, then.
I love you. Have a good night, everyone.
Can you answer one more question?
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, exactly. Yeah, you don't get to keep that. Okay.
Get him into him.
Can you agree that it
No
is
problem, man.
it
No
is
problem.
wrong to put your political opponents in jail?
I believe it is wrong, and we saw that right before he got elected that they said, turn it all off. I think that we should have had a much deeper investigation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Who wants a hat, everybody?
All
All right, I had a question about, I'm Tyler, by the way. I had a question. My girlfriend and I have differing political beliefs. We voted differently. We're both Christians. We have a lot of the same beliefs about how humans should be treated, abortion, that type of thing. But identity politics a little bit, not liking candidates based on their personality versus their policy kind of divided us. Also, prioritization of policies. So she's a little more foreign helping. And I think we should be more focused domestically right now with the damage we've, taken on the last 4 years. So how should we handle our relationship when we have a lot of the same values but differing political beliefs?
It's a really good question. So would you say that even outside of Trump, would you still largely agree on politics or no?
I think so. There's a little bit. I think that kind of plays into the identity piece. She tends to think that Trump's anti-immigrant, where I say he's anti-illegal immigrant.
Outside of Trump,
Yeah.
do you think that she would vote more Republican than Democrat?
I don't think so, just based off of the foreign aid
Okay.
piece.
Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Do not marry this girl.
Okay.
Do not marry someone that you cannot talk about the daily news with. You guys can laugh at it. Do not build a life with somebody where you cannot agree on what daily news channel to watch. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, we can talk about it, and we agree that a lot of the mainstreams on
You
both
have
sides.
to agree on it. I'm telling you right now, as someone who is married, when you have to instill values in a child, you cannot have the first elemental issue at 7 a.m. when you turn on the radio or a podcast to be disagreement. You got enough of that already in a home.
Yeah.
You need to have harmony.
Can I ask you specific issues? We agree on abortion.
Good.
We've talked about immigration, and I've said, Trump's not anti-immigrant, he's anti-illegal immigrant, and we need to protect our own citizens, and we do need to bring in people from other countries, but only when we can actually give them opportunities. And we agree on that type of thing. So what would be dividing beliefs?
Well, I asked what was the revealing? I asked, would she vote more Republican than Democrat? And you said, again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you said not really.
Yeah.
And again, I'm only saying build a life with someone where you have agreement on the macro issues. You can have disagreement on the micro issues. You need to agree on religion. You need to agree on eternity. You need to agree on political matters. You could disagree on what type of food you like. That's micro.
Yeah.
You could disagree on bedtime. Right? You could disagree on the type of cars or where you vacation. That is micro. Macro, you must be in alignment. And understand, let's just take, for example, you're raising a child. And she's like, hey, you take the son in the morning and then he'll be with the mom. Is that kid going to hear two different things? A house divided can't stand. And so that's the point, is that there must be harmony, because if all of a sudden, for example, your wife will be like, well, Trump is XYZ, and you say, well, no, he's actually this. At some point, it's like they'll look and they'll say, well, there's disunity there. So I'm a big believer in macro agreement. I'm not trying to rock your world here, but do not try to change your girlfriend or your future fiance or wife politically. Does not work.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
This would actually be a good segue. So I was going to come here to Wazoo. I go to Spokane Falls Community College. I didn't want to live the party life, the college frat life, and I didn't want to be influenced by liberal universities. I wanted to kind of just work and go to school. And I think a big piece of her political beliefs, I hear her, she has an open mind to what I say, and she starts to agree with things. I think a lot of her life has been influenced by having two liberal parents, and then now she's in school.
Do not marry this girl. You do not want liberal in-laws. You do not want this. I'm telling you, run away, find somebody else. In-laws are very important. I'm telling you right now, as someone who's married with 2 kids, in-laws become embedded. You almost inherit them as pseudo-parents. And if all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, here's Thanksgiving, here's Christmas. You should be excited about Thanksgiving. You should be excited about it, not begrudging against it. And so if you want warfare in the family, because here's the sad truth. You want the more blunt truth?
Why not?
Is she have a good relationship with her dad?
Yeah.
She'll side with him over you. Every time.
Yeah. And
She will leak to her parents against you if all of a sudden she feels as if the politics is going under the marriage. Her first love is her dad. And if she has a good relationship with her dad and she feels as if that you're bringing bad ideology in there, I'm sure your mind is turning a little bit because you might have seen some examples of this. She will go back to the liberal parents against you, and you'll be on an island.
Yeah. And I say she has an open mind, like I don't want to put her under the stereotypical liberal. And
I'm not saying that.
I will
I'm
say
saying
it's
parents matter, though.
Yeah, but with her dad, I'll just like give you this anecdote. Her dad knows how I voted, and and he's a pretty strong advocate against Trump. He hasn't ever brought it up to me. We've had a good relationship, and she has called out her dad for not having enough of an open mind, and she says that, I'm torn between you two, and I think you should be less hateful.
I know. I'm telling you, though, tie goes to the runner, which means tie goes to the biology. And because it's unfair for her to choose, which one or the other one. You might think like I'm generalizing. This comes from over 10 years of seeing and doing this, that political agreement is a necessary foundational element when you want to try to build a family.
Got it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You got a lot to pray about and wrestle with. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. I love my in-laws. My in-laws are great. They're all MAGA.
All right, so that green shirt guy from a little while back got me thinking, how in your mind can someone be a dictator when they willfully gave up their office?
I mean, you can act like a dictator. Joe Biden didn't even know he was president, right? So for him, he might still think he didn't sign any documents. This guy's a joke, right? And by the way, dictators give up power a lot. Bashar al-Assad willingly gave up power in Syria. So that's a bad example.
Well, not necessarily. A dictator implies that there's assumed power there that they have absolute control over.
Not necessarily. Again, what I was saying is that, let me be even more clear.
Yep.
When you use the legal apparatus to go after your political opponent, that is acting like a dictator.
In what way?
Because there's a dissident, Donald Trump, that's about to encroach on your power, and you're cheating. You are using what should be impartial justice as a way to favor, as a way to give yourself an advantage.
So how was the justice impartial when the warrants used to search his Mar-a-Lago mansion were in fact issued by an impartial, neutral judge?
Okay, search warrants are very different than indictments, but we shouldn't be searching Trump's residence in the first place. Former presidents should be off limits, period. Unless they're doing something, like flying to Epstein's Island, then you actually don't get anything wrong that happens to you. So it's like, the point being is that we shouldn't be going after former presidents.
Well, can former presidents not engage in corruption then?
Of course they are, but we didn't go after Bill Clinton on the Clinton Crime Initiative for this exact example. It sets a bad precedent.
Well,
We didn't go after Bill Clinton for Epstein Island for this reason, because it sets a bad precedent.
Shouldn't we set a good precedent, though, by going after the former presidents who are in fact corrupt?
No, actually, because almost every president is corrupt, and we as a country have never done this before. We basically say these are largely off limits because it will be so divisive and destructive. People want to know why the country's so divided. They tried to put Donald Trump in prison for half a century. What does that do to the country? It's an insult to all of us. As if, oh, you guys are going to have a voice. So sorry, we're going to go lock him up in prison. It doesn't take a lot of schooling to know that that's cheating. That's unfair. That is not playing by the rules.
Well, to be fair, right? It's not necessarily not playing by the rules, because it wasn't Biden himself that issued that order. It was a Biden-appointed judge.
It was his person. No. It was Merrick Garland that orchestrated the whole thing. And Merrick Garland reported to who? To Joe Biden.
Yeah, but they still have their own unique opinions and ideas.
Merrick Garland cannot do something that's not in harmony with the president, period.
Well, no, that's not true, because judges are supposed to be impartial.
Not judges. DOJ. He's the Attorney General of the United States.
But that's still that's someone who's supposed to be impartial. And
No. The AG is not impartial. That's not true. The AG is the top law enforcement officer of a president. The president can order cases to be dropped, increased, decreased.
That's the thing, is the Department of Justice can't have an opinion on a case, but the president can stop the case, right? Like, the president has power to put things to an end, but he doesn't have the power to start things within the DOJ.
Yes, he does. You're wrong. He just did that with Miles Taylor. That's not correct. The president, the full authority over the Attorney General's office. DOJ is completely under the authority of the President of the United States. It's not its own branch. It's not. But by the way, tell me, what branch of government is it then? What article of the Constitution the DOJ
The judicial
under?
branch.
No, it's not actually.
Yeah,
it's
the
an article.
Department of Justice.
Dude, you understand? The DOJ is in Article 2, okay? The judicial branch is in Article 3. How many articles of the Constitution are there?
Hell if I remember, dude.
Yes, 7. Right, exactly. So The judicial branch is Supreme Court, District Court, Circuit Court. The Department of Justice is the law enforcement of the second article, the executive branch. That is why the president appoints the head of the Department of Justice.
But that's the thing, though, is justice is blind, right? Justice is supposed to be neutral. So in a department that's supposed to be neutral, to adequately distribute justice to people who deserve it, right? Is it not wrong to try and press charges on a former president, and then if it comes out that they're innocent, then it's just all said and done? I mean, Trump's trial didn't, like, get him put in prison for the rest of his life. Like,
because the trial never actually came to fruition. Again, I don't even know what we're debating here. It's hard to kind of take what you're saying seriously because you don't even know the branches of government, to be honest. So, like, it's like, let me just make this as simple as possible. They tried to prevent Trump from being president by putting him in a prison cell. That is wrong, and it should never happen again. Thank you very much. Let's get to the next question.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, Charlie.
Great. Come on the line.
So I got this little pin from TPUSA. It says freedom of speech, not censorship of speech. And I guess my question for you is, how is that consistent with what Donald Trump's been doing, threatening to remove certain press organizations from the White House press room?
Yeah, I mean, they're still able to speak, right? He didn't prevent them from being able to publish articles. Being in the press room is a privilege, not a right. Can you and I get in the press room?
No. But
why?
Because we aren't working for CNN.
Okay,
or
no.
AP.
Oh, CNN has special rights that we don't have? What rights does CNN have that we don't have?
If it's a major news network,
oh, a
it's
major
Fox, NBC.
What is, no, hold on, that's not correct. The president has full authority to decide who gets into the White House or not. You do not have a right to go to the White House. You do not have a natural right. You have a right to publish what you want on your website. The president didn't sign an executive order telling the AP that they can't write what they want to write. It's saying that if you're going to behave in a certain way, you're not allowed on White House grounds.
Sure,
Period.
but he's restricting their access.
So that's not restricting speech.
So you think that that it should be okay to restrict access?
Yeah, of course. If you act in a certain way, if you act like a jerk, you leak stories, you're belligerent, you're aggressive, you have lost the right to go on White House grounds, period.
And do you think that Fox News was doing that to Biden, but he didn't kick them out of the White House?
Okay.
So I guess, like, why do you think, what should the grounds be for getting kicked out of the White House?
Breitbart, he kicked out OAN, he kicked out Real America's Voice. What are the grounds? Every president can determine it. It is at the sole duty of the president. It would be one thing if President Trump signed an executive order saying, CNN, you can't say this. That would be a violation of freedom of speech. It's very simple. It's access. Access to the White House is a privilege, not a right. You have to apply for it. To get on White House grounds, you have to behave a certain way. You have to hopefully dress a certain way. You have to be with a certain honorable understanding that you don't run the White House. You cover the White House. And if you act like a jerk, you might get kicked out of the White House.
So what do you think the Associated Press has been doing wrong to get kicked out of the White House?
In that specific instance, they decided to not use official government terminology, which was the Gulf of America.
Right. The official terminology that just got changed.
That's how it works.
Well, personally, I think that if you are a major press organization, you should be allowed to have that
Just so we're clear,
access,
Joe Biden used billions of dollars to fund actual censorship of Americans' rights to speak. The Joe Biden White House went after anybody who questioned the efficacy of the COVID vaccine. Joe Biden, personal White House, went out to Twitter and Facebook trying to silence anyone for saying that. Thank you for your time. I got to get to the next question. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Let me just get my girls 1 sec. I'm talking.
How many people we got here?
We're 3, but they're
Okay.
just my entourage.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Don't worry about that. Girl, get the middle. Thank you.
Be more respectful. Come on.
Oh, they're my girls. I'm always respectful. Anyways, I have a big quick question is about private colleges. Why should they be able to bend to the rules of Donald Trump when they get to decide their curriculum? I know I started off with my college. Oh, sorry about that. I started my college career in a private university on Lacey, like St. Martin's, and they're a big Catholic university where they get to decide their own curriculum, their own way of teaching, and especially it was religious. And so now Harvard is being struck with a bunch of deals where they're not allowed, they're being withheld $2 billion worth of research funds, or was it 200 million? I'm sorry if I'm, 2 billion, right? Thank you, sorry. But they're a private university. Why should they bend to the knee because they're private? I get why public universities, because we're funded by the government. But why should private universities bow to the knee of the president?
Well, first of all, private universities receive a lot of government money, too, through federal student loans called FAFSA, right? So
Yeah.
FAFSA is all federal student loans. Secondly, that's taxpayer money that is being sent to Harvard, $2 billion. Thirdly, Harvard has a $50 billion endowment. They can pay for their own research. We don't need to be financing research at Harvard when they're sitting on a $50 billion cash pile.
Okay, but at the same time, it is like a private university. Like even with if it's like Catholic or not Catholic, because I know Harvard's not like a religious school, right?
Well, it used to be, but not
It used
anymore.
to be, not anymore. Like I went to a fully religious Catholic college.
But I bet they still took federal money. You use
Little
FAFSA?
bit. No, we use WA FAFSA.
Yeah, FAFSA.
Yeah, WSFA.
Okay, yeah, again, FAFSA. Yeah, so that's federal money.
Yeah.
So the idea of a private school is actually a very questionable idea.
But why can't we teach different ideologies at different times? I'm not combating like, whatever your ideology or whatever behind me's ideology is.
That's fine. Harvard can do what it wants. We as taxpayers don't have to finance it. That's the question.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't have to finance it, but why is there going to be so much backlash behind it? Why do we must combat them? If they want to teach their way, so be it. There is such a problem with people constantly combative. Can't we just have a problem where we can disagree and then
What was your question? Is anyone following this? I'm not. Yeah.
No. Girl, I was expedited. I'm just trying.
It's all good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I get a hat? Get
Okay,
someone's
sure.
Thank you.
You're very polite. Thank you. All right, thank you. Nice to meet you, Entourage.
I got expedited. I didn't want to be over here. So weird.
All right, what we got here? We'll go about 15, 20 minutes, then we'll give out all these hats. How about that, everybody, huh? And we'll sign some stuff. Yeah.
Hi. I have a loaded question for you about gun control, pun intended. I know that you are anti-gun control for some of the previous comments that you've made, including one of the Nashville comments that you wrote a little while ago you were interviewed on. I personally think that gun control should be a bit more restricted and tight because of a personal experience that one of my siblings had at their school where somebody brought a gun to their school and nobody was shot and they were able to get the kid off the premises and my siblings were okay, but it was really scary thinking about the fact that I was over here and they were over there and I couldn't do anything about that and that it even happened at all. And I'm not super well versed in gun politics, but I've recently taken an interest in it because of that incident. I just want to know what your opinions are on that.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry that happened to your family. So do you think, and it's not a trick question, do you think gun ownership is a privilege or a right?
I think it is a privilege.
That's where we disagree. So I think it's a right for people to be able to defend themselves with a firearm. And so because of that, I tend to favor looser gun restrictions.
I think it's a privilege because having a gun means you're able to easily take a life, even if it is in self-defense. And with that it is a responsibility. Things that are a responsibility are, for me, inherently a privilege to have.
Okay, yeah, so we just disagree. We think that it's a right for the American people to be able to arm themselves in some, let's just say, some understandable capacity, and that would be the ownership of firearms.
Okay, so do you think that the current laws that are restricting gun control are good enough?
Well, it depends on what state and what context. I would actually think we need less gun laws, not more in certain areas.
How so? Which areas are you referring to?
Chicago and Washington. I can't imagine. It's probably pretty hard to own a gun in Washington, right? So I guess, and if I can ask, where did that incident happen?
Vancouver, Washington, actually.
Okay. So that is southwestern Washington, right across the border of Portland, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah. Great, beautiful spot. So if I could ask, so Washington has very strict gun laws, so does Oregon. That didn't prevent that kid from getting the gun or bringing it to school, right?
I suppose not, no.
So it's something to think about, right?
Yeah, it is.
No, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm saying that at times gun control does not work the way that you hope it works. I do not want to see people that should be in mental institutions own weapons. The problem is that it is an overly used distinction where there's a lot of great veterans that get wrongly diagnosed with PTSD and their Second Amendment rights get taken away from them. And finally, I'll say is that I think you as a woman should be able to have an equalizer, which is a gun, to be able to defend yourself against someone that might wish harm with you. So
I do agree with that aspect. Good. I also think that this kind of relates a little bit to private citizenship for like military use and gun use, because I think that from what I know, I don't know a lot, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, that there regulations for gun ownership is different than just owning one as a normal
What
citizen
state or what country?
in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Private military-owned corporations that hire civilians with gun rights. Sorry, that's a really long.
Yeah, I don't know actually. So you're asking, I'm not sure. So
Private corporations that hire. They're not called mercenaries. They're more like security guards or with guns.
yeah, I mean, look,
it's
we
kind of hard to word it.
you can get your hands on some pretty sophisticated weaponry here in this country. But I got to get to the next question. Thank
Okay,
you for that.
sorry.
I encourage you to read a book. It's called Gun Saves Lives.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
You promise me? All right. Thank you. Here's your hat. Yes, you get a red one. Thank you very much. Want me to sign it? I'll sign it. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for your question. Thank you. We'll do a couple more. Yes. Have to give them the same due process rights, or if you invoke the Alien Invasion Act, which President Trump has, 1798 law, which allows you to expel people that are here that might be part of enemy gangs or enemy organizations that have invaded the homeland. So under those two provisions, you are allowed to expel people here in the country without traditional due process rights.
Well, I do have some issue with that, specifically with your second point of Trump relying on the Alien and Sedition Act. We can see that whenever Joe Biden
It's not the Sedition Act, but you're close.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
but
my
no, you're
fault.
good. It's the Alien Invasion Act, but it's fine. It's all good. It's actually, they were passed right next to each other, so you're not that far off.
So we can see with Joe Biden, when he tried to forgive student loan debt, he was relying on a law that was roughly 20 years old. And the Supreme Court said in that case that a president relying on a law that was passed in a time that's too different from today's times can be unconstitutional. And I think if that was ruled to be unconstitutional with the law only being 20 years old, that Donald Trump relying on a law that was passed in the 18th century would be very unconstitutional.
That point sounds smart. Should we get rid of the First Amendment?
I'm confused where you're going with that.
It's pretty old.
The First Amendment has
It's
been...
from 1787. Should we get rid of the abolition of slavery? That's from the 1860s. Should old laws be getting rid of? Just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. Should we get rid of the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment? You're the one arguing for due process, which actually was authored in 1791.
Well, the difference
so
is
old
that
stuff
these
doesn't mean
laws...
it's bad. It just means to just criticize it on its merits, not how long it's been around.
But these things have been reaffirmed several times. With the First Amendment, there have been several cases regarding the First Amendment. We can see that it was incorporated into the states. We can see with other cases like West Schoolbird versus Barnett.
Same with the Alien Invasion Act. It's never been ruled unconstitutional. It's been heard many times.
But when has it been reaffirmed by the Supreme Court?
Multiple times. It's never, I believe in like 1850, there was another, 1950. It hasn't in the last couple of decades, of which there will be a legal challenge. But understand, this is specifically about Tren de Aragua and MS-13. That is specifically the carve-out of this law that allows the president to have expedited removal of people that are affiliated with enemy gangs that, by the way, have committed crimes here in the interior of the country, to get them off our homeland. And so the question really is, if you're part of an enemy gang, shouldn't you go back to your country of origin and not stay here in the United States of America when you're raping or murdering or having domestic violence or abuse? Not only that, the American people overwhelmingly voted for that in November.
Well, I don't believe that these people who are being deported are affiliated with criminal organization. At least the majority of them aren't. The Trump administration has deported...
Every one of them has documentation that they're part of MS-13, including Garcia from Maryland.
That's not correct.
No, the Maryland dad, actually, it's come out. He was part of MS-13, acknowledged he was part of MS-13. He actually beat his wife in 2021. His wife says, I actually don't want to be around my husband anymore because my husband Garcia is beating me. He said he was afraid to go to El Salvador because an enemy gang was going to come after him. Enemy gang, that sounds like a gang member to me. And guess what? You should be happy. He's home. He's from El Salvador, and he's back in his country of origin. We sent him home. He's not an American. He's not an American resident. He's not an American citizen. He's not here legally. He broke into the country, committed crimes, was part of MS-13, and was removed under this provision back to his country of origin, all of which is legal and perfectly accessible.
You're saying all these things, and while they might be true, they've not been shown to be true. And the Trump administration claiming that these things are true gives dangerous precedent.
No, but
if the Trump administration can just claim
to be true.
that a person living here is part of a gang.
He acknowledged it. It's not. He said it in his own asylum cases. In 2019, his own documents, he said, I am part of a gang that if I go back to El Salvador, I will be murdered. I need asylum in America because another gang might murder me. And again, this guy beat his wife. Like, why are Democrats going out of their way to defend the worst of our society? Maybe they should fight this hard for American citizens for once. Like, You want to know why Trump is so popular? The left goes out of their way to fight for foreigners that have broken into our land and commit crimes and that have affiliation with the worst organizations on the planet, while the American citizen is being left behind. That is the power of our movement, and I wish the American left would have some spirit and some fight for the forgotten men and women of this country. Not just foreigners here illegally. Final point, if you'd like to make one. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my education to become an actuary, so I can get a job, make money.
And that.
But anyways, I want to ask you
I'll put my
what your level of education was and why you didn't go to college or dropped out or whatever.
I'm a proud high school graduate.
Okay.
So and an American entrepreneur that now employs 1,500 people, $100 million budget. Millions and millions of people follow us, and I didn't have to go to college to do that. And so if people think college is for them, then great.
Okay, how did you get there?
Through hard work and grit and determination and traveling.
Did you make connections with other people? Did you network?
Yeah, and actually college wouldn't have helped at all for that.
Okay,
And-
how?
Well, because I was trying to meet successful, rich, seasoned, conservative people to seed fund my operation. And if you're trying to find successful conservative people, you don't go to college campuses to find those people usually.
Well, if you
And-
look at the crowd, all these people here are conservative, so I don't know what...
Fair enough. Again, emphasis on wealthy, successful business people. I'm sure there's some in the audience.
So you're calling all these people poor?
Well, no, I'm calling them students. Okay, so unless someone here is like a crypto billionaire, I want to meet you. I was looking for seed funding, of which is very normal for a startup operation to do.
Okay.
But again, I weighed the cost and the benefit. I took a gap year. It's been 13 gap years. However, I am curious, does it matter that I didn't went to college? Do we want to debate resumes or ideas?
No, ideas, not
Okay,
resumes.
cool. So you are studying to be an actuary. Cool. Explain to me, are you worried at all that artificial intelligence will take your job in 5 years?
I've asked I've had many informational interviews with actuaries. I've asked them that same question, and they aren't worried. They actually think that it's going to help actuaries do their job more efficiently, especially with computing on the computer. So but the job itself isn't going to go away because of AI.
But there might be less actuaries.
Well, it's a very secure job, so I'm not worried.
Again, I know dangerously little about an actuary, but let's say that you're an actuary for an insurance company.
Yes.
I would imagine part of being an actuary for Allstate or State Farm would be the synthesizing and the collection of tens of millions of data points, finding trends and averages, and then trying to project where that data is going to go, right?
Yeah.
Objectively, artificial intelligence is going to be better than 99% of human beings with that way. And there's no human cost, and you can run it 24 hours a day. So you're right, there still might need actuaries to make final determinations. But again, I don't know enough about it. But to say that AI won't touch your field, I think it will. In fact, I think it will lower the head count and make entry-level new graduates from schools like this with actuary degrees or math degrees not nearly as important as it was 10 years ago. Hence my hypothesis that college is a scam, that a lot of people here are getting degrees that will be replaced by robots or artificial intelligence, and half the audience, if you get a job, that actually half the jobs that are available that kids end up getting don't even require college degrees in the first place.
Okay, but so you're saying AI is just going to totally replace everything?
Not everything, no. I said, I'm hypothesizing. I don't know enough about what actuaries do, but
yeah.
You heard my 30-second shtick, somewhat directionally correct, I imagine, right?
Sure.
Because insurance companies, the backbone of how insurance companies make money are actuaries, because they have to know what to pay for rates and then pay out for hurricanes or fires or are people going to drop dead.
Yeah.
They have to project that data into the future. AI is really good at math right now. It's getting better, and it's getting better, and it's getting better. And so if we get to a place where they think it's going to get, and you're a business owner, why employ 5,000 actuaries that require benefits and health care?
Well, what about the human element? An AI can predict something, but a human can outweigh whether or not that's the right decision or not.
Oh, of course, no. I'm saying the headcount of actuaries will inevitably go down. So you'll end up with 100 really seasoned actuaries, and all the 4,990 people, 900 would probably be largely unnecessary, because the number crunching, the data synthesizing, the projecting can be done much quicker and even more accurately in a shorter period of time.
Yeah, we are already using computers to calculate data with coding. So I don't know what you're trying to say here.
This is much different, though. The AI can assume some of the human characteristics to be able to blend data models, project them, think analytically. AI is even more advanced than what you are seeing publicly. It's way more advanced.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years more advanced. The private artificial intelligence of what companies are paying for right now would blow your mind what they can actually get. So again, I don't know enough about actuaries to be able to make a determination, but if I were
Okay.
guessing,
So-
I would say that 90% of actuaries are going to be out of work in the next 10 years.
Okay, so can we go back to the original question with college being
No.
a scam? though?
Yeah, but that's part of the point. Is that if you're
but,
borrowing
okay,
money,
but not just actuaries, not just me, but like other majors, other jobs. You always talk about like social, like liberal arts majors, but what about like I don't know, like teachers? Teachers need to get credentials.
well,
and
teachers
all that.
are also going to largely be replaced by artificial intelligence. They
But
already
why
are.
would we do that?
Well, but it's already happening. It's not a matter of why. Again, I actually think there's some
So
problems with it.
you would like a
No, I'm not
kindergarten
saying
to
it.
be
No.
taught by an AI.
I'm observing a trend. I'm not even saying it's good. I'm saying it's happening.
Okay.
I'm saying that we are seeing teacher headcount go down across the country
well,
because
also because it's hard to make a living being a teacher.
well, also AI is far more customizable. It actually is able to have learning plans based on a lot of different characteristics of the individual student. We're seeing kindergartners across the country use it. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I actually think we lose the human element of teaching.
Yeah.
We can agree on that, but it's happening, right? So we could fight the future. It's the direction it's going. So the question should be, is college worth it like it was 20 years ago? And increasingly the answer is no. Again, half the kids in this audience, I'll reiterate it because I wasn't as clear as I should have been, half the kids in this audience, if they get a job, they'll end up getting a job that doesn't require a college degree, rendering their time here largely useless.
But they network here and they make friends and
You
stuff.
also can network outside of college. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
If the argument is that this is a glorified LinkedIn, if that's what college has
Okay,
become,
I'm not really trying to make that point.
then make the point is why 80% of kids are here that should be in college. Like,
Well, if you go to college and you have it on your resume, you have a degree. What that shows is that you can finish something and that you are trustworthy of finishing something.
increasingly people are looking for kids that didn't go to college. In fact, they're bringing back competency tests and IQ tests. Increasingly, it matters less and less of the credential, matters more and more of the competency and the character of the applicant you're looking at. Look, you are right. In certain fields, they require a college degree. Respect. Totally right. But that's
So
that's
where do they
diminishing.
go then? Where do they go?
For what?
In no college, where do they go?
Well, we need more welders, entrepreneurs,
Yeah,
carpenters,
people
HVAC.
already going. I had an old roommate. He left to become an electrician.
And he's
yeah,
going to end up
trade-
making a lot more money than most of the people in this audience, actually.
Okay, so what do? Everyone's becoming an electrician. Everyone becomes.
No. You know we have 11 million open jobs in this country right now that pay more than $80,000 or more a year that don't require a college degree.
So they just become, they just go there. Or
Well, yes. So, for example, let's
no
be
education.
honest. Well, hold on. Just because you don't have a degree doesn't mean you don't have an education. You can be a lifelong learner right now because we have these supercomputers in our right-hand pocket. You could take Hillsdale online courses. You could do the Peterson Academy. You can listen to deep podcasts. You could learn more by listening to 50 hours of Joe Rogan talk to scientists than the sociology department here at Washington State University. So, but the point being is just because you did not go to college or get a degree does not mean you are not cultured or that you are not in pursuit of knowledge. We actually have more opportunities for people to be wise and to understand the world than ever before. But let me just reiterate it. Many of the people here in college are in college because there's a shame element to becoming a carpenter. There's a shame element to becoming an electrician. No one wants to say, oh, I work construction. And no parent is like a proud parent. They're like, what's Johnny doing? Oh, Johnny's become a welder. It's like that's kind of looked down upon. Instead, it's like, oh, my kid goes to Washington State or my kid goes to UW. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but we have 11 million job openings in this country that people simply don't want to do right now. And that's a tragedy, and they pay really, really well, and they're not going to be replaced anytime soon.
Okay. All right. Well,
Thank you for your time.
I don't know if I got anywhere with you, but
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Of course. All right. Howdy there. I'm Sam here. Trying to get a business degree, and I wanted to ask personally if you should believe Pride Month should be continued.
We should only have American Pride Month in the month of July. So, no, I wouldn't do anything legally about it, but no, I don't think that any government building or government entity should celebrate what happens in June.
Okay. Oh, of course. So you just believe it should be basically privately celebrated?
Yeah, if you want to, you have a right to do it, of course, obviously.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time then. I just wanted to ask.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question.
Hello, Charlie. Hello, Charlie. How are you doing today? Good? Okay, so mine's just, I think it's a little dumb question, but I feel like you know more about this than I do, but I think it's a really important question. My question is basically, you know how the country is divided basically into Republican and Democrat, right? And we've kind of became really divided, like, you know, with all of the people right here, you get here like a really big protest going on right over there.
Our crowd's bigger, but that's...
Yeah, but, yeah. Why do you think we have become so divided as a country?
Yeah, it's not actually a stupid question. I mean, part of it is... I mean, look, it's going to sound like overly simple, but, but I do want to ask a question to prove my point. The side that believes in freedom of speech is the side that I believe is on the right side of history.
Yeah.
Has there been an instance, guys, where a liberal has had an open mic on campus where conservative kids can ask questions and you guys feel respected? How many of you kids here on campus, raise your hand, do you feel as if you're graded down if you come out as a Trump supporter or conservative?